Koichi, from what I can tell, is the fan favorite character for this season. A lot of people compare him to Black War Greymon, Beelzemon, and some people even compare him to Ken. And it's very obvious to see why that, to me, was what Koichi was supposed to be for this season. I mean, it has kind of become a tradition for all Digimon seasons to have that redeemable villain character. I mean, people talk about Leomon dying. I mean, how many of these type of characters have we had? A lot of seasons we've had, like, 2 at once. But we'll talk about Leomon later. Right now, let's talk about Koichi, or should I say Duskmon, because that's how he's first introduced to us as. Duskmon is introduced to the series shortly after Grumblemon is, along with the other evil legendary warriors, but it doesn't actually become prevalent or active in the show until about the halfway point. He's super strong, super fast, near invincible, and pretty much here to hint that there are more evolutions that our heroes are going to get in order to defeat him. He's also here to have the group cast doubts upon Takuya's leadership, as Takuya's just hard-headed approaches seem to just fail all the time and he refuses to correct them. And not to mention, he sends Takuya back in time and transforms him into a Digimon, but it seems like that was his first job in the show, was to kickstart Takuya's little arc. But also we learn that he has some connection to Koji, it's very mysterious, and then when Takuya's back in time, he kind of says, "Oh, look at that kid. I wonder if he's going to be important later on," and it's very obvious they're drawing some sort of connection between these two. But then Takuya comes back, and Duskmon's gone away, and he's off having a psychological breakdown because he doesn't know why he cares about Koji, and then Koji's like, "I gotta go find Duskmon," and then he finds Duskmon, and they start fighting, and then Koji gets into evolution, and this is actually probably one of the better moments of this season. There's a lot of good action, it's very fast-paced, lots of cool moves, and a fair bit of mystery, because we want to know who... Well, we already know who Duskmon is, kind of. They even tell us pretty much that, yeah, it's this kid on the train. We're not even going to hide it for that long. The real mystery is finding out who exactly this kid is, his connection to Koji, and what is he doing in the digital world, and what happened after he missed the elevator. It also helps that at this point, Duskmon is the most serious villain we've encountered. Like, all the evil legendary warriors seemed to kind of be half serious, or, 1/4 serious, and the rest of it just comic relief. Mercurymon is hinted at having some sort of massive ulterior motive and some great plot to, usurp Cherubimon, but spoilers, it doesn't go anywhere. And despite being only introduced like a couple episodes ago, he already has more of a presence in the season than Cherubimon had, even though he's supposed to be the big bad for this arc. So to me, this fight has a lot of stuff going for it in terms of this season. I will nitpick it a bit and say that I think it's split up too much throughout several episodes. Like, it goes on for quite a while, or, variations of it go on, because the fight is going on while the kids are in Sukakumon, and we're kind of cutting back and forth between that, and they fight Sukakumon, while Koji is still fighting Duskmon, and then there's a reprieve where they unite, and then they all team up to fight Duskmon one last time, and it broke up the momentum a bit for me, because we're cutting from this fight, which is really cool, to this fight, which is really lame, but it's still a really good fight, and I mean, that's the only thing I got to bitch about so far, so... Duskmon here is doing pretty good. So, Mercurymon is finally defeated. The fight between Koji and Duskmon is being frequently interrupted with, visions of Cherubimon and this kid's past. Until finally, our fight takes a bit of a break when, after blowing up this building, Duskmon is going to go kill Koji. But Koji's Digivice projects a beam onto him, and it triggers a music video where we get to learn a bit about our friend here, Koichi, and what he was doing before the train ride. And I only laugh because of the fact that this is a legit music video. This is lyrics and everything. This is a real song. And it just seems to come out of nowhere and just... is so awkward, and I like to imagine this is Digimon trying to beat those people on YouTube to the punch and just shoving their own AMVs now into their own season. It's so bad. But now we finally get to learn a lot about Koichi. In fact, this is probably going to be the focus for the next couple episodes, minus the fight with Cherubimon. We learn that Koichi is Koji's twin brother who was separated at birth, and they never knew about each other until Koichi's dead grandmother or mother, I forgot, was telling him about it. She told Koichi to go find his long-lost brother, and that's what he was doing on the train. And when he missed the elevator, he ran down the stairs and fell down, and then something happened. And then somehow Cherubimon entered his mind and brought him to the digital world as the evil incarnation of Duskmon. But now he feels guilty that he turned evil, and he doesn't have an evolution anymore, so he feels useless. But him and Koji begin to bond during the episode, but honestly, the fact that he doesn't have an evolution is pretty much not important, because within the same episode, this evil clone of Cherubimon attacks, and he just gets a new, not evil evolution. And we learn that it's super strong. But this evolution also doesn't really matter that much, because it's pretty much surrendered to Koji and Takuya within about 2 or 3 episodes. So this does kind of lead me to question the overall usefulness of Koichi, because he's not he's not a fighter. He's not useful in a fight because he is, like I said, sidelined almost immediately for the super evolutions that these two get, and he's just kind of on the sidelines. Sometimes he'll throw a snowball or something, but that's about it. And he doesn't really provide us with any sort of in-depth information about the villains. Like, he doesn't say, oh, I was evil, so I know this about Cherubimon, because he told all of his evil henchmen his evil plan or whatever. He just, once again, doesn't know that much about what's going on, so he's just as in the dark as everybody else. So I feel like he's here just to kind of be like a mystery character, because he still doesn't know how he got here or what he's doing in the digital world, and that's something we're trying to figure out also. And I guess it's okay to have one of those characters. I just feel like he's a good example about how poorly paced this season gets at the end, and how sort of sporadic the characters sort of act, and how everything kind of seems rushed at times, because we have Koichi here. He loses evolution. Next episode, he gets a new evolution. 2 episodes later, he loses it again. Pretty much for the rest of the season. And this is why I kind of feel like he should have been introduced quite a bit earlier than he was, because, like, let me put it to you this way. Ken and Impmon, they joined the team kind of late overall in the seasons, you know, some later than others, but they were part of the show very early on. Ken was introduced the first episode. Impmon was introduced as a comic relief character. A couple episodes later, you saw his sort of struggle, so they were both institutions of the season already. Koichi and Duskmon are introduced as concepts very, very late, or at least introduced as actual characters very late into the season. I'd say about halfway through, and then Koichi doesn't join the team until much later after that. So the show gives this feeling that it's in this wind-down period. We just finished with these kids with Tsukakumon, but now it's introducing a whole new character, and he's complicated, and he's got problems, and we need to work through them, And I don't feel like the show is ready for this, because Koichi doesn't do a whole lot during the Cherubimon fight, except fight Ice Devimon and try to free, what's her name, I forgot already. He mostly shines during the Royal Knights section of the season, but that season, or that section, doesn't really feel like it's geared towards development. In fact, I feel that Koichi comes
But there's no doubt in my mind. He's my brother, all right.
And that freak Cherubimon is using him. He gave him the spirit of darkness. My twin brother is the warrior of darkness.
Your brother.
Come on! It's my turn, Shinya! Give it back!
No, it's not!
It is too! Besides, it's my game anyway!
A brother. Wow, Koji, I'm really happy for you. That's great.
Well, I'm sure you'll fight a lot, but that's just what brothers do.
I just found out I have a brother, and he's being mind-controlled by an evil creature bent on destroying the world. I don't know what to do. Oh yeah, I can totally relate. I mean, like one time, me and my brother were trying to play a video game together, but he kept hogging the controller. It's pretty much the same thing, but you know, I can relate, and I can just tell you that, you know what, this is just normal, and you guys are just going to get over it, and everything's going to work out fine. It's that simple. I hate you. But that's not the focus of him, it seems. The focus seems to be the overall mystery of Koichi. And why doesn't he have a ring of data when he's knocked out? And why did he come here? And when I first watched this as a kid, that's what I was interested in. I didn't really care about Koichi as a character. I was more interested in seeing these mysteries play out. We're not going to give away all of what happens to him or all that's revealed yet. We'll get a lot more into it during the finale, but right now we'll just do final thoughts because Koichi is definitely more of a late game sort of character, so we'll probably touch on him a bit more during the Royal Knights when we're talking about them and the finale overall. So final thoughts about Koichi's character in general. I can see why he's supposedly a fan favorite character. I do have some issues with him, but none of them are like character ruining problems. It's just, I understand what he's supposed to be. And even then, he does have character moments that I do like. There's the part where he feels guilty and he feels that he's evil because he has like, he's supposed to represent darkness. But then Ofanimon or whoever tells him that just because his spirit evolution is supposed to represent darkness does not mean he is inherently evil, because darkness itself is not inherently evil, and you can't have darkness without light, or something. And I liked that exchange. You don't see a lot of shows that try to overall defend darkness as, you know, not being inherently evil. My problem more overall just comes with the fact that I feel that the show is just overall not paced well, so a lot of stuff involving Koichi just kind of seems rushed or not that well thought out. And also, like I said before, I feel that he's kind of like an extension of Koji's character. Mainly because I don't feel that Koichi really connects well with the rest of the group. Like we've seen through previous... Like as I've explained in previous episodes,